Hello and welcome to my video game history. This is a video response to Dave ImAGameGeek. I think Dave, yeah, that's the one. Dave ImAGameGeek. Tried to say that too fast. And if you're wondering what the hell the first picture was all about, that's just to set the scene. Basically, my first experiences with video games were in a workingman's club. Not that particular workingman's club, but a workingman's club. And it was on a sit-down game of, oh crap, what was the first one I played? Probably Lunar Lander. Space Invaders was probably next, or possibly before, I can't quite remember. But I did like to play those, and that's what first got me into games. After that, I moved on to an Atari 2600. This is my first home game experience, apart from little handheld things like Scramble and Galaxy 1000, that sort of stuff. I had a little Space Invaders thing that was little red dots moving about. That was quite good. Sort of a brown brick with buttons on the side. All sorts of strange things like that. But mainly, I really think my first experience with games has been in the workingman's club, playing on those games, asking for 10p, driving my mum mad or my granddad mad for 10p to go and play on the arcade machine on a Saturday night. Yeah, so anyway, onto the 2600. That's what I had. My first ever console. I can remember having that for Christmas, and I was rather amazed. It wasn't as good graphics as the arcades, but you know, it was good enough. I could play Space Invaders at home, and all the goodness that provided, which was quite, limited, I suppose. But there we go. There were some cracking games on the 2600. I'm not going to list them all here, but that was my first one. The next machine I had was a Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Not the 128K as I got here, but the Plus, but it's difficult to find a picture of that, and I couldn't be bothered to find my old Spectrum out and take a picture myself. Because I've got a lot of pictures in this I've been using. Yeah, great game, or great machine I should say. It introduced me to the love of programming and trying to make my own games. That was something that I always considered when I had an Atari 2600, but no clue how to even start, begin or do that. It seemed like magic. It was magic in a cartridge. So yeah, Spectrum was really good. I first saw it around my mates, played a few games on it. Oh crops, what games did they have? I can't remember. There was one where you had sort of people in the distance and planes. Zoom, yeah, Zoom. Remember that one. Jetpack, brilliant Jetpack was. And what else? I had Football Manager. I was obsessed with Football Manager. I couldn't see what the hell they liked it for. It's like, it's just numbers scrolling through lists. It's just rubbish. Yeah, I hacked into it and changed it to Football Manager, which they didn't particularly appreciate. But there we go. I'll change it back for them. There you can see Serpent from Hell. That was my first game I ever had for the Spectrum. $1.99 from the corner shop. I bought it before I actually had a Spectrum. I knew I was getting one, and I just got it in advance. I was a little disappointed when I actually played it. It was a text adventure with graphics, but it was done in BASIC, and it literally took a minute to draw each graphic up each time you did anything. So it was a bit slow paced. But at the time it was great. It was the first game like that I'd ever played, so I liked it. A few years later, I had a Master System. I was a big Sega fan in the arcades, so being able to play Super Hang-On, well, not Super Hang-On, Hang-On, and Outrun the Space Area, that sort of thing, was brilliant. There was loads of games on the Master System I used to love. One of my favourite consoles, to be honest. Next was the Mega Drive, the Master System's big brother, brilliant. Altered Beast, classic game. Shinobi, absolutely classic. Super Hang-On, brilliant. There was absolutely loads and loads of titles for the Mega Drive. Ghouls and Ghosts, all sorts of stuff. Top quality console. Next was the SNES. I really wanted one of these after I played Super Ghouls and Ghosts on it. That was the main game that made me want a SNES. Also liked F-Zero, Street Fighter 2 as well. big reasons for me to get one, and I got one as soon as they came out. Next up, I went back to computers, an Amiga 600. I wasn't big with games on this. A lot of the games I wanted to play didn't work. R-Type didn't work, Pac-Mania didn't work, several games didn't work on it. So I did play a few, but I was mainly into Amos. This is I really started getting into programming a lot more with this than I even did with the Spectrum, simply because you could do so much more with it. But I did play a few others like Agony, I don't know, a few. I also had an Amiga 1200 after that. Again, mostly programming, but I did get away with a bit of ray tracing and that sort of thing. So I started getting into that with her, although I did do that on the 600 as well. I got a 500 after that, so I could simply play Pac-Mania and R-Type and things like that, although in the end I didn't really play them that much, because I think some of them came out on PlayStation and things like that, so you could play them other ways. Next was the 3DO. Great system. Didn't do as well as I'd have liked, but things like Road Rash and Need for Speed basically made up for it for me. I played Road Rash, well, Need for Speed for a good 12 months solid, just that one game alone. Road Rash not quite so much, but it was still a good game. Yeah, apart from that 3DO failed, there wasn't really many games out for it that were brilliant, but it was still a good console and I didn't mind it too much. Next was the Sony PlayStation. Wowed by the graphics initially, especially when I saw the T-Rex tech demo. But I don't know, I've not got that many fond memories for the PlayStation personally. Gran Turismo was good. Ridge Racer was good. I can't remember lots of games that I really enjoyed. Those are the ones that stick out, and that's about all really. Next was the PC. The PC. I really got into strategy games at this point a bit more. Empire Earth, Age of Empires, both cracking games, and those are really the sort of things I mostly played on the PC. I stuck with the racer games and arcade games on the consoles, to be honest. They were better then. Things have changed a little now. Basically, new consoles and PCs are almost identical in every way, apart from the PCs are faster. So I've lost a bit of interest in modern consoles because they're just really a PC in a box. When it comes down to the crunch, in years gone by, a computer was a computer and a PC was totally different to a console. Amigas were different to consoles. The consoles were normally better at doing what they did, and the computers were just more of a rounded animal you could do different things with. So next is the Sega Saturn. I got this second hand, I never bought it new, mainly for Sega Rally, pretty much only for Sega Rally. I can't even think of any other games I liked on the Saturn particularly, apart from Sega Ages. Sega Ages was great because it had Space Area and stuff like that. So yeah, Saturn. Dreamcast next, one of my favourite consoles, again, really like this one. There's things like Crazy Taxi, 18-wheel truckers, there's tons. Soul Calibur was a reasonable beat 'em up. Sega Rally 2, oh cripes, there's a lot on the Dreamcast that are worth mentioning. Shenmue, both Shenmues. If only Shenmue 3 was out, eh? Next was the PS2, basically for Grand Theft Auto 3. I was going to say Gran Turismo, but no, Grand Theft Auto 3. That's the reason I bought it, and it was one of the only games I had for a long time. I have had some other games since, but nothing really that stands out as being absolutely brilliant. So that was really the reason I had it. Oh, and for Gran Turismo Spec, of course, that was brilliant. Next was the Xbox. Again, I didn't buy this new. I bought this second hand. About a week after it came out. I knew I worked in a game shop, and I just knew this one customer who bought lots of consoles would be wanting to sell it within a week or two. It was always the way, and he did, and I got it for a couple of £100 cheaper than if I bought it new, so I did well to wait on that one. Lastly, we've got the PS3, which I bought for Gran Turismo 5, and no other reason. I've got no other games for it. I never have had any interest in any other games for it, apart from Grand Theft Auto 5. But again, nah, not at the minute. I'll hang on. I probably wouldn't play it much anyway. So yeah, those are all the machines I've owned. I've played lots of other machines over the years, Neo Geo, PC Engine, Game Gear, Game Boy, all that sort of stuff. But I never really owned one, apart from a handheld PC Engine, which I got after most of this stuff. So yeah, until next time, I'll catch you later.